My wife Kelly loved roller coasters. I hated the freaking things. I remember one of our first dates was to an amusement park. It was, of course, her idea. We walked around, went on some easygoing rides, but it wasn't long before she dragged me toward the biggest roller coaster in the park. I told her there was no way in hell she was going to get me on that thing. She laughed, told me it would be fine, nothing bad would happen. I didn't even get a chance to argue before she took my hand and pulled me into line with her. I was shaking as I got into the seat, and I had a death grip on her fingers. She didn't complain. She just turned to me and smiled. It wasn't my bravest moment, but sometimes fear doesn't give you a choice. Looking back on that day, I think she just wanted me to step out of my comfort zone, to take risks. Because taking risks is what life is all about. Sometimes they pay, sometimes you pay. I woke with the first light of dawn. My body ached, my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth, and it felt like someone had poured grit down my throat during the night. My stomach grumbled and complained, practically collapsing on itself. But I was alive, and that was something. I made my way out on the coast again looking for supplies. I finished what was left of my water a couple hundred feet outside of a small village, one I had hoped to resupply at. But I found it filled to the brim with walkers. I didn't have the means nor the courage to tackle them, so I moved on and hoped I'd find what I needed elsewhere. About a half a mile in the other direction, I came upon another survivor. We drew weapons on each other, and all I could think about as I stared down the barrel of his pistol was, maybe I won't need to worry about fighting food. We gave each other a wide radius, and I took off up the hill, praying he wouldn't shoot me in the back. I started to laugh deep in my throat because I was too scared to vocalize it. I just thought of a gun being pointed in my face. A few minutes later, I came across another town, not more than a few houses in a road. There were walkers here as well, but I didn't have the luxury of trying somewhere else. I already started to feel weak and sick. A headache had been brewing in my head all morning, and it was beginning to explode. I had to check the buildings, and I had to take the chance. I spotted the walkers as best I could, and took a route as far as possible from them. Inside, I found what I needed. A can of beans. Not a meal fit for a king, but one fit for keeping me on my feet. And that's all that mattered. Stomach half full, I moved back out the way I came and prayed that no walkers had shambled their way over. It was my day for finding towns. I stared down at another from a hill. It looked like a good place to get a better gun. But before I could move, two survivors appeared along the street, and I watched them for a time. I found my thoughts moving toward the hope that they would draw the walkers to them. It would give me time to look in the buildings. I gave no thought, no worry that they could be overrun. It scared me that I could disregard them in such a way. But a lot of things scared me these days. My luck was holding out. The first building I checked had a rifle waiting for me and some ammo. A bonus was a soda that laid in the corner. It was flat and hot, but so very sweet. For that little bit of time, I felt almost human again. The survivors had left, but the walkers just seemed to spawn everywhere on the road outside of town. The road I wanted to take to keep away from the survivors. I took a risk in searching the barn, a stupid one perhaps, with the walkers only a few feet away. But I needed the rations and ammo. My choices were slim. Stocked up with some supplies, I went to the safety and shelter of the woods. I found a new road after traveling through the woods. I followed it up and it brought me to a much larger town. The walkers had all taken a nice stroll out into the fields with only a handful walking the edge of town. Now what is good at the time is ending. I found a well, like it had been placed there by the gods just for me. I rushed to it, not believing my luck, and filled my canteens. I was so excited that my hands shook and slopped water onto the ground. I continued out of town, took a drink, and then cursed my stupidity. I should have filled the canteens, drank, and then filled them again. I stood and debated going back, and this mistake brought me face to face with my first walker attack. I ran from him, knowing that he wouldn't stop. But if I could get far enough away, I could kill him without attracting the horde. I stopped, reloaded, and listened. Somehow I had alerted two of them. I took them down, one shot each. And then took a deep breath and listened some more. I left the field and began to look for somewhere to hold up as it had just started to rain. I resembled a drowned rat by the time I found another barn. My jeans itched and clung to my legs. My pack felt 1,000 times heavier than before, and thunder rumbled above me. I just hoped I didn't get struck by lightning. I stopped at the doors and watched the rain fall. I had taken a lot of risks today, and most had paid out. Kelly lived in